So anyway, welcome to the podcast by Paulina
and Gemma.
All about frank, unscripted conversations between friends on everything to do with a balanced, happy life, sometimes business, sometimes personal, often quite ranty, always passionate.
Hi, I'm Gemma. I'm a professional problem solver and leadership coach obsessed with learning about being the best possible human. Reading all the books, doing all the training, trying all the holistic therapy.
Hi, I'm Paulina. I'm an operations and digital marketing manager by day and cat welfare, kitchen witch and tea fanatic by later day. Trilingual, self-development junkie, here to share all of my very many thoughts.
So for the podcast, Paulina and I are sitting very closely for the mic and having a conversation about how some of the more famous podcasters maybe don't sit with their knees touching.
It's a rather intimate setup, and what I really enjoyed is as I moved up a little bit, Gemma visibly moved away from me.
Well, I thought you were going to spill your tea on me.
I'm just here to gaze into your eyes.
Oh no.
So uncomfortable. We've sauntered together.
I know, and I've done loads of work with people on eye contact, and I'm actually really comfortable with it. So I think it's the mic.
This is great. Do you think it's the mic?
Yeah.
Is it like a third unwanted party?
Yeah. It's a voyeur.
Nobody wants that. No shade. You do you.
Okay, so today we are exploring
just something I wanted to bring to the table. So I've had some thoughts and some experiences recently that made me think a lot about, we'll get to how I got to this sort of final thought on it, but basically parenting my brain and my body. And by that I mean just a multitude of thoughts on sort of productivity windows and structure and habits, and that feeling like you're sort of pushing and pulling between what your natural productivity that day is and where you're feeling like I don't know, for my example, I'm productive in the morning. Usually I'm quite a morning person, and then I'll get to lunchtime, I'll have food, and then I tend to, or recently anyway, and that's why I'm bringing it today because I think your thoughts on this would be great, is that I ended up having like a brain siesta, for God's sake, and then I ended up having the second wind of productivity, and I've just been struggling a little bit, reconciling, do I lean into it and just do that, but then it means that I'm learning to work in the evening, or do I go, no, I need to, I know that I need to wind down at this time, and I need to not just sort of be reactive to my thoughts and my ideas, and instead maybe write them down or have some other techniques. But it's just some thoughts, especially from last week, where I felt like I experienced that a lot.
How do you know that you're in a productivity window? What does that mean?
So for me, I focus easily and I get into a really good flow. Like the proper classic, what everyone wants to aim for all the bloody time. It's like you get into that zone and it's just, stuff is just going. It's not a struggle. So then that's the thing, like when I feel like that, it feels really good as well, because things that just come quite easily, and sometimes you get a breakthrough in some idea, or, you know, you can really chunk away in a couple of hours a really big piece of work, which on another day, or if I left it to the next morning, there's that thought of, but I've got other things to do, or like, oh, I'm feeling like this now, so
yeah,
why
and
not
you've
try
lost
now?
that window, I suppose. That flow state.
Yeah, and it's a nice state. It almost feels like I want to capitalize on it and maximize on, I feel like this now. But I've had this then thought. It almost feels like I'm basically having like a toddler to mother. That is my brain. So my toddler brain, after the Christmas break, I had a couple of weeks off for Christmas, self-employed. Christmas is tricky. No, I had a couple of weeks off for Christmas because it was important to have a proper break. Really enjoyed it, loved it. Came back in January, and now it feels like I am having to mother that toddler again into a nap and feed routine that is not entirely disruptive to the bigger picture, which is in fact my bigger picture of life, well-being and business. And that includes the fact that the toddler goes, oh, but look, we could do this at this time. And I'm like, oh, we could. And this is actually a great result. But if I'm allowing all these like afternoon second winds quite late, I mean up until dinner time, which is in my sort of standard of working, if I work in the evenings, am I just teaching myself that I should work in the evenings?
So what are you doing after lunch? So you said like morning is productive, like true honesty here. What is happening? What
is happening?
What are you eating? And then what are you doing?
No, okay, so in terms of I don't know if, are you getting at whether the food's putting me off of productivity?
Interested. I'm interested.
Okay, because that's something I've explored before, and I know there are some foods that I can react to with like basically a food coma, and my brain's just like, had enough, like I have a sugar crash and all that. That's not the case. It's not that. It's more about just like this restlessness, maybe. And I go, okay, well, I literally can't sit still. I can't stand still. I can't like stay on task. So I go, fine, well, I have a nice lunch at home, and I do end up, privilege galore, but I do have the time, and I make the time to actually cook from scratch at home. It's important to me. So that's like a good hour that I like to commit to that sometimes. And that's...
You are a kitchen witch.
I am a kitchen witch, correct.
In the podcast
Thank you for reminding me. You're quite right. Yes, it's literally like one of the top sort of values in my life, food and everything it stands for. So I make sure that I do make the time to actually cook from scratch. And then after that, I'll eat. I'll probably watch something I really love that's like something I've watched 1,000 times, because that's what 90s kids do to soothe.
That's what you do. And lots of people I know.
So
that's not what
many
I
people.
do. I
So
think
many
it's
people.
weird.
Just rewatching and rewatching and rewatching. And if you're that person, then you're my kind of person. And maybe you can replace Gemma on this podcast with me, because clearly... something's not fitting here.
This is not the good place.
This is... something's not clicking. This is not
it's
good
just
place.
a reference to one of Paulina's top rewatches.
The Good Place is incredible.
Okay.
On that another time.
Moving on.
Yes. And then...
So you cook yourself a nice lunch.
Yeah, and then I end up just doing something relaxing, like reading or watching something. I like 20 minutes, half an hour while I eat it. So because I eat too fast, so I do that to not eat too fast. And then... yeah, then I end up doing just something else. I either like potter around the house and do little bits of tidying around, or I try to maybe like exercise. And I just literally cannot just straight away get back to work. I just can't stay on task. So I try to do other things. But by the time I feel like my brain's gone, okay, now you've, I don't know, done other things than work today? Is that sort of what's coming up? Now you can go back to work. Like now you've done other things in your day. Now you've not just done work and not had a life. Like, I don't know. But by that point, it's, for example, like 3. And it's like a 3 till 5. Or it might even be 4:30. By the time I've done that, maybe there's some life admin in the middle of it. The cats, maybe they've done something that I need to deal with, or other things. And it feels like that then becomes like a chunk, like a good chunk, 2 or 3 hours of my day that I literally, I'm not working, I'm doing other things. By the time I sit back down to work for that second half of the day that never happened, it's literally 4:30, 5, and I'm sort of working then 5 till 7:30 until dinner.
Well, what I hear, so I think there's 2 things that I hear. One is that a bad thing? That's one other thing to explore. The second thing is I get a sense that there needs to be some kind of, I'm going to say ritual, but I don't really mean ritual, some kind of closing off of the lunch to restart the work. So something along the lines of, I'm just thinking about it. You're going from basically cook, entertain, brain like goes into a more chill out zone, and then you want to just quickly snap back into productivity mode. And it feels to me that there is something missing in between finishing lunch and that time and then being able to go into productivity. And I'm wondering, I don't know, do you think that there's something there?
And do you know what? I think you're onto something. Actually, before we delve into that, can I have some tea, please?
Yeah. We're drinking bonfire and chamomile tea mixed together. If Bird and Blend would like to sponsor this podcast.
They absolutely should, because that's all I feed anybody in my life in terms of tea. So thank you to our sponsor.
Thank you to our non-sponsor.
So it's interesting you raised that, because this is where this notion of like toddler or baby brains come up for me, because watching myself and the things that I'm going to say distracted by, but we know it's not about distraction. It's about clearly there's something else coming up that I need to address as a need in my activities of the day. And it's made me think of this like child that needs to be sort of entertained in a different way, played with, play. Maybe the play's the problem. I'm not having enough of that, and I'm asking myself to have too much structure. So then in the afternoon, my brain's going, well, you've had that, enough of that. Let's do, I don't know, the fun unstructured thing, the fun thing, a different thing, just anything but this.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, in the puppy world, there's a 3-2-1 that you should do in order to get the puppy to chill. And obviously you don't want to chill. You want to get into productivity mode.
Let's talk about the 3-2-1 first of all. Break it down. Tell us.
So the 3-2-1, 3 would be like a high energy game. You know, some kind of play to like burn off that energy.
Yeah.
Get it out there.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, get the release, get the adrenaline, get it pumping. And then after you do that, you then would do something like a brain game with the puppy or the dog. So you would do a brain game. Maybe you teach them something, teach them a different trick, get something which engages their brain, maybe a sniff game, something like that. And then 1 is you would give them something like a stuffed Kong, like a long, slow release food. And that's kind of the 3-2-1 that then gets the puppy after that into chill out mode to be able to go to sleep. And my sense is that you're going from kind of brain game into like eating, like final stage, but you haven't got the energy release stage. So you're kind of doing steps 2 and 1, but there's no number 3. And so in the afternoon after eating, as you said, you're like...
This is the best noise.
Yeah. It's like zingy. I don't know. I always describe it as like zingy, fizzy energy that needs to go somewhere, but doesn't have anywhere that it's going.
Yeah. So that's that number... That was that 3.
Was number 3,
that we started with. So I'm not...
So even you could do the stuff. 3, you could do your work in the morning, and then you could do the 3 before you eat lunch, and then it might set you up after lunch. Like, it doesn't need to be that you go... In some ways, I think that would work better in terms of a curve. So you do work in the morning, you're in number 2, and then you go to the number 3 and you burn off a bit of energy. You're basically a dog. You burn off some energy, you do something, you just like jump around, or you do a few of those things that you think need to be done in the afternoon before you eat, and then you eat, you do the chill out, and then maybe you do like a, I don't know, 1-minute meditation, 5-minute meditation, then you get back cracking, you are in productivity mode.
Incredible. Now, 2 thoughts on that. First of all, even though I asked you to break down 3-2-1, because I genuinely wasn't sure, thank you so much for that. I actually do that with my cats. I didn't realise I was doing it. I full on do that with my cats. Because there is a logic to it. I just didn't know that that's like a technique and a method. Good to know. But I did that before you came. I did that with Memphis.
Yeah, you said.
Full on like high energy play. And then we did a bit of brain and tricks. And we tried a bit of that. And then I just like tried to chill him out and brushed him a bit. And I didn't give him like a long release treat thing because he gets a bit activated by... I shouldn't really say the T word too much around here.
It's fine, he's gone.
He's gone. He's left the room. He's had enough of us. So I sort of naturally worked out somewhere that makes sense. And interestingly, I just had a thought. So I'm not really usually, in my experience of me, as long as I've known myself, someone who does actually work with that like second wind in the afternoon or evening. Never really was an issue before that I can recall. But... major thing that has changed in the last couple of months that I'm now changing back, and this is due to like life upheavals, moving, a lot of things that have changed in my routine. I don't work out in the morning as much. Nowhere near. I used to have to work out in the morning. So that would be my high activity thing that I no longer do. That's my 3 that I've now dropped. Oh my word. Genius.
Wow. So maybe working out in the morning.
Maybe working out in the morning. I did it today. Feel better. It was only a tiny thing. It's not as much as I wanted to do, and not what I actually thought I would end up doing. I don't know why I'm being so mysterious about working out. I just did some core on the mat rather than go for a run, but it has made me feel like I'm ready to sort of do more brain work again now, which is why we're sat here and we're doing this. So yeah.
And I think I'm interested in the other ways that working out isn't for everyone, and not everybody has the time to be able to work out. What other things do you think work for you in terms of potentially that high energy release or disbursement of energy? I'm just actually trying to think about that for myself. And I haven't quite decided.
Well, I've got some thoughts, so that will buy you some time if you'd like. We come prepared, guys. Okay. So actually, top me up some tea, would you? I know I'm drinking most of this bloody tea now, so I'm just gonna have to make you some new ones.
That's fine.
Ones. Get a new pot. Good luck editing this.
I mean, this will be in the edit.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Could you chuck that on top? Thank you. So, things that I do. Okay, so I am someone who's quite high energy anyway. I consider my brain a collie, a border collie, so that's helpful. No, I am someone who's quite sort of high energy. I am someone who needs to expel that energy on a regular basis. So it's good to be reminded that actually it does need to go back to being a daily thing. But there are other things. It doesn't have to be a run, doesn't have to be a workout. And also, when I say workout, guys, I don't even mean a gym. I've got shit at home. And by shit at home, I literally mean a mat and like dumbbells that cost us 25 quid. And I just use that. Sometimes I use like water bottles as weights as well. So there are other ways. We can talk about it in some more depth some other time to make it more accessible if that's what you're after. Because I hate the gym. Again, different episode. Could be really fun. But what I really love to do as well, actually, is two other things will sound really obvious. But one is actually just going for like a brisk walk outside with a podcast or an audiobook. I just love it. Sometimes all I need to do is just go to the like Tesco Express or Co-op nearby, not sponsored. And it's like a 10-minute there and back. And it almost feels like your brain sort of wants to go, what's the point? Because it's only 10 minutes. But as the little phone trainer told me this morning, reminded me as I did my 10 minutes of core, is that if you just did that 10 minutes every single day,
exactly.
How big of a difference would it make to your day, to your week, to your month? Just those 10 minutes. So yes, it does all of it matters, and that 10 minutes does matter as well. So I really recommend that. And it's no matter the weather kind of habit. It's the idea that no matter the weather, getting some fresh air is always beneficial to you. If you can make yourself, like if you can repeat that enough until you've completely convinced yourself that it's the truth, it really, really helps. And the second thing I really love is just having a good old dance party.
Yeah.
By yourself in the kitchen or in the living room. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here for those. And I don't know. I think, walking, I don't know. For people that don't go outside, I don't understand you if you're listening.
We hope you're listening while you're walking outside.
Yeah,
okay?
Please listen outside. I'm all about the outside. Or the other thing is I do like power half an hours around the house.
Ooh,
so that just is me just, seeing things that need to be done around the house and then kind of time boxing. And instead of saying, I just really need to tidy up, I'm saying, I need a power half an hour and I'm just going to bish, bash, bosh, get stuff done.
Oh, I love that.
And I do those quite a lot. And it's just a little energy go, get everything done, power half an hour. Normally I've got like headphones in. So it's kind of similar to dancing, except that I'm cleaning at the same time. Or not even cleaning, just doing random bits.
The life admin. This is sort of what I meant by the life admin earlier. It's often that I'll potter about, but actually I don't do a power half an hour. Maybe I should try it. What I do instead is every time I go from room to room for whatever reason, I will pick stuff up and move stuff around.
Oh,
so I sort of do it as
I also do that thing that's quite annoying where you just leave stuff at the bottom of the stairs and then you just take things up every time. And it's like...
I heard that is, I'm not lucky enough to be an owner of a staircase in my home at the moment. However, I hear that's the curse of a staircase.
Like yesterday I got something, I bought something, it's still sitting there. Also, and I've been up and down the stairs so many times since then. Anyway, this is going weird. So I want to come back to this idea about being a parent for your brain and for your body. What does that actually mean now to you?
I think there's the whole concept of the inner child that I've become much more interested in the last couple of years at least, if not longer, closely related to the time I've gone self-employed, because there are just so many more decisions that I'm having to make that I realised I have to make. And this is even coming from someone who's always been a self-development junkie anyways. And it's that idea that, now it's it's coming up in my life, and like I feel like I'm getting real tangible examples of what the feelings are like to do that. And it's that, I guess for me, it's that idea of being like kind and gentle to yourself, but also having the boundaries with yourself. Because I think a lot of the boundary talk can be often about, it's you and then your boundary and then the external things. What about you with you? Like we say all these, we call them like willpower or discipline or whatever. There's, a million other words, but I think that can also be seen as a boundary. Like, what do you let yourself do? What choices do you make? And where does that lead you a little bit further down the road? Like,
Yeah. I think I heard somebody mention a while ago that you find your boundaries within your body. And I'm totally living by that at the moment.
Tell me.
That basically, I've got so many thoughts on your relationship with your body that it's just...
So let's put a pin in that for a longer episode anyway.
Yeah, but I think, like, on what you're saying, it's that you're finding these boundaries within your body. So you kind of know whether something feels right based on what your body's telling you. So going back to your example of like afternoon productivity, it feels to me as if something is telling you from within your body, this isn't quite right. My body needs something else. Yeah. And therefore I feel that your body is giving you that indication.
Yeah, I feel quite strongly that it's very much, it feels like, I said at the beginning of the like push and pull, it feels very much as there's a push and pull of conscious and sort of sub or unconscious parts of me, that the conscious part of me goes, well, these are the things, your to-do list, your business, your life, the things that you consciously need to do. And then the sub or unconscious will be things to do with that real gut feeling of, well, it doesn't sit right. I'm not able to focus. I'm not able to, to give it my full attention, or do I need something else? Like, what is it? And this is why I said the thing about the sort of toddler brain, because I don't want to, when I say toddler brain, I don't mean to discount the wisdom of that brain or gut feeling, that there's a reason why I'm feeling that way, because we wouldn't be talking
Toddlers
about this,
clever,
right? Exactly.
It's more that real intuitive.
Exactly, that real intuitive approach, the real sincere way that children are when they just tell you things straight to your face. And it's hard, but it's very true. And in that sincere way, they're showing up, and with their energy being really aligned to who they are and what they are. If they're hungry, they're hungry. If they're sleepy, they're sleepy. And when that started coming up for me as a way that I've noticed that it's manifesting, that my routine is not so quickly snapped back to what it was or what I would want it to be or what I'm imagining this ideal to be, which is a whole other thing that I'm trying to sort of catch as well and address and go, is this an unrealistic expectation of my brain, depending on my capacity and so many factors. And that's what I mean. I feel like it's so nuanced. There's so many things. And I'm just trying to be conscious of conscious of the unconscious pull of the fact that maybe there's something to it. I was trying to make sure that I don't just go, oh no, I will just, never open my laptop in the evening because that's the better thing for me. I mean, says who? Right now it's working for me.
Also, if you're enjoying the work that you're doing, the difference as well is, are you enjoying are you enjoying that flow state? Because being in a flow state is epic, and it's actually really hard to come by. So if in the evening you're in flow state and you're loving it, then make the most of it. And maybe it doesn't work in your ideal routine. Maybe in a couple of months, the evenings are going to get lighter and you're going to realize that you want to go out and you want to do stuff and the flow state doesn't work then. Maybe you're going to start waking up earlier. Who knows? But at the end of the day, if you're in the flow state and you're enjoying what you're doing, my view is crack on.
So, okay, 2 thoughts on that then. First thought, that the daylight and time of year right now, definitely a factor, I think, and the fact that I'm then that, my inner child, my brain child is going, do something else. Daylight is now. You've woken up. You've done all the things that you have to do as the adult part of you. Go do the other things. And I do think that's part of this sort of unconscious disruption to my day in the middle of that sort of early afternoon. It just feels like a peak. Do things now before it gets dark so quickly and cold so quickly. So I think that's a big factor. Second, though, all very well, all very kind of you, but what if I learn a habit I don't want to have? What if I learn a habit of now working in the evening forevermore? I'm dramatizing for effect. But what if? Because I don't want to then have to unlearn
still serving
that.
you.
She's coughed.
Like, bad habits are only bad if you feel
That they're bad.
they're
I
not
feel like it's
serving
bad.
you. I don't think it's bad. I think that, I mean, to be honest, I think you think it's bad because you're a morning person and because you want to be productive in set times and because you really
but also
enjoy...
because this is coming from a very reactive... I get like I'm trying to tune in and be intuitive, but I know it's coming from a reactive space of chaos and a structure coming off of life chaos that's now settling down, and I'm wary of forming something that I don't have to unbloody do, and that's the push and pull, I guess. So it's like, where is that line? I mean, you're not going to have an answer for me, but you're very wise. That's why I'm bringing this to you.
I think that
Where's
you
the line?
should, basically, I think that you should experiment with doing some kind of energy release and then seeing if you can get back into that mode in the afternoon. And if you can't, that's all good. And you can like figure out what else is there. But I think that there's some, it's a bad habit that you think it's a bad habit. I mean, I don't even think it's that bad. You think it's a bad habit, but...
For me.
For you, because you've got a view on what you think that you should do.
Correct.
But I think instead of focusing on the habit and feeling, oh, damn, why do I have you? I'm really annoyed about this habit. Try and look at potentially the cause of what's happening. Maybe there isn't that energy release. Maybe there's stuff that you feel like you need to do. And then if you shake that up, change it, and then see what happens.
So that's the thing, step out of this being an issue. So don't put a label of this as a problem on it, because it's not. I've fully just extrapolated into an issue that's not even true and never has to be an issue. I've just like put a label on it and gone, oh my God, what if this becomes a problem? And like you said, it doesn't have to at all. This is just my own preconception. And I think there's a little part of me that's like a fear of what if I can't bring myself back? And I'll mind the wording because I think it's interesting how I'm expressing that as well. What if I can't bring myself back to the self and the way that I used to work before I had all the changes in my life last year, like moving and other things as well? And there is that thought of, I had a really good system worked out and then a lot of changes happened. And I know part of me wants to be like, if I can just grab at that past Paulina, she had shit down and bring some of that with me. And I think that's going to be a longer process than I
don't think we can ever go back to something.
Exactly. Yeah, I know it's a complete like false, whatever it's called. But I think I'm just aware that I'm sort of grasping at I had some things worked out pretty well and I do want to bring them forward in a positive way, but I mustn't use them as a way to now label things as an issue when they're not even an issue.
No,
right?
Exactly. And I think we need to figure out what structure 2.0 is.
Yeah, structure 2.0, yes.
Structure 2.0. Like toddler Paulina, they want to play, right? Yeah. They want to play.
Yeah, she likes naps too. Naps are good.
I never nap. I never, ever, ever nap.
Okay, naps will be another one. Naps is a great other topic we can have.
Waste of time. Okay, let's leave it here for the day.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So anyway,